Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'm audible. Give me a second. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranjam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhirayat Nashta Prayesha Abdreshu Nityam Bhagavata-sevayā Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtakim Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devkinandanaaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, continuing from verse number 26. Maitreya Uvacha Ityarchitah sa Bhagavan Atidishyatmanah Padam Balasya Pashyato Dama Svam Agada Garudadvajaha. The great sage Maitreya said, after being worshipped and honored by the boy Dhruva Maharaj, and after offering him his abode, Lord Vishnu on the back of Garuda returned to his abode as Dhruva Maharaj looked on. Sopi sankalpajam Vishnoh पादसेवपसादितं प्राप्य संकल्पनिर्वाणं नातिप्रीतो Puram. Despite having achieved the desired result of his determination by worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Dhruva Maharaj was not very pleased. Thus he returned to his home. Vidura uvacha Sudurlabham yat paramam padam harer Maya vinascha charana archanarjitam लब्ध्वापि असिद्धार्थम् इव एकजन्मना कतः कथं स्वम् आत्मानम् अमन्यतार्थत्वेत्. Sri Vidura inquired, my dear Brahmana, the abode of the Lord is very difficult to attain. It can be attained only by pure devotional service, which alone pleases the most affectionate, merciful Lord. Dhruva Maharaj achieved this position even in one life, and he was very wise and conscientious. Why then was he not very pleased? Maitreya Matuh Sapatnya Vagbhanayar Hridi Viddastu Tan Smaran Naichan Muktipater Muktim Tasmatapam Upeyivam. Maitreya answered, Dhruva Maharaj's heart, which was pierced by the arrows of harsh words of his stepmother, was greatly aggrieved, and thus, when he fixed upon his goal of life, he did not forget her misbehavior. He did not demand actual liberation from this material world, but at the end of his devotional service, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared before him, he was simply ashamed of material demands he had in his mind. Dhruva uvacha samadhina naikabhaven yatpadam viduh sanandanadaya urdhva retasah maser aham shabdir amusya padayos chayam upetya pagatah pratanmatihi. Dhruva Maharaj thought to himself, to endeavor to be situated in the shade of the lotus feet of the Lord is not an ordinary task, because even the great brahmacharis headed by Sanandana, who practiced Ashtanga Yoga in trance, attained the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet only after many, many births. Within 6 months, I achieved the same result, yet, due to my thinking differently from the Lord, I fell down from my position. Aho bata mamanatmanam atmyam. Sorry. अहो बत ममानात्म्यं मन्दभागस्य पश्यत भवचिद्दः पादमूलं गत्वा याचेयद् अन्तवत्. Alas, just look at me. I am so unfortunate. I approached the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can immediately cut the chain of the repetition of birth and death, but still, out of my foolishness, I prayed for things which are perishable. मतिर्विदूषिता देवै पतद्भिर् असहिष्णुभिः यो नारदः वचस्तस्यं नाग्राहीशम् asattamah. Since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary systems will have to come down again, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha planet Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of sage Narada. दैवीं मायाम् उपाश्रित्य प्रसुप्त इव भिन्नदृक् तप्येद्वितीयेऽपि असति भ्रातृभ्रातृव्यहृद्रुजा. Dhruva Maharaj lamented, I was under the influence of the illusory energy, being ignorant of the actual facts. I was sleeping on her lap. Under a vision of duality, I saw my mother as my enemy, and falsely I lamented within my heart, thinking, they are my enemies. मयि तत् प्रार्थितं व्यर्थं चिकित्सेव गतायुषि प्रसाद्य जगदात्मानं तपसा दुष्प्रसादनं भवच्चिद्धम् अयाचेऽहं भवं भाग्यविवर्जितः. It is very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in my case, although I have satisfied the super soul of the whole universe, I have prayed only for useless things. My activities were exactly like treatment given to a person who is already dead. Just see how unfortunate I am, for in spite of meeting the Supreme Lord, I can cut off one's who can cut one's link with birth and death. I prayed for the same conditions again. स्वराज्यं यच्छतो मोद्यान् मानो मे भिक्षितो बत ईश्वरात् क्षीणपुण्येन फलीकारान् इवाधनः. Because of my state of complete foolishness and paucity of pious activities, although the Lord offered me his personal service, I wanted material name, fame, and prosperity. My case is just like that of a poor man who, when he satisfied a great emperor who wanted to give him anything he might ask out of ignorance, asked only a few broken grains of husked rice. मैत्रेयवाच न वै मुकुन्दस्य पदारविन्दयो रजोजुषस्तात भवादृशा जनाः वाञ्छन्ति तद्दास्यं हृतेरथमात्मनो यदृचा यदृच्छया लब्धमनः समृद्धया. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, persons like you, who are pure devotees of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can offer liberation, and who are always attached to the honey of his lotus feet, are always satisfied in serving at the lotus feet of the Lord. In any condition of life, such persons remain satisfied, and thus they never ask the Lord for material prosperity. आकर्ण्यात्मजम् आयान्तं सम्परेत्य यथागतं राजा न श्रद्धदे भद्रम् अभद्रस्य कुतो मम. When King Uttanapada heard that his son Dhruva was coming back home, as if coming back to life after death, he could not put his faith in this message, for he was doubtful of how it could happen. He considered himself the most wretched, and therefore he thought that it was not possible for him to attain such good fortune. श्रद्धाया वाक्यदेवर्षेर्हर्षवेगेन दर्शि दर्शितः वार्ताहर्तुम् अतिप्रीतो हारं प्रादान् महादनम्. Although he could not believe the words of the messenger, he had full faith in the words of the great sage Narada. Thus, he was greatly overwhelmed by the news, and he immediately offered the messenger a highly valuable necklace in great satisfaction. Sadaswam ratham uruhya kartaswara parishriktam brahmanai kula vruddhaischa paryashto matya bandhubihi shankadunduvinadena brahmaghosena venubihi निश्चक्राम पुरात् तूर्णम् आत्मजाभीषणोत्सुकः. Then King Uttanapada, being very eager to see the face of his lost son, mounted a chariot drawn by excellent horses and bedecked with golden filigree. Taking with him many learned Brahmanas, all the elderly personalities of his family, his officers, his ministers, and his immediate friends, he immediately left the city. As he proceeded in this parade, there were auspicious sounds of conch shells, kettle drums, flutes, and chanting of Vedic mantras to indicate all good fortune. सुनीतिः सुरुचिश्चास्य महिष्यो रुक्मभूषित्ये आरुह्य शिबिकां शार्धम् उत्तमेनाभिग उत्तमेनाभिजग्मतुः. Both the queens of King Uttanapada, namely Suniti and Suruchi, also, along with her other son Uttama, appeared in the procession. The queens were seated on a palanquin. Tam drushtvopavanabhyasa ayantam tarasa ratat avaruhya nrupasturnam asadya prema vihvalaha. परिरेभेऽङ्गजं दोर्भ्यां दीर्घोत्कण्ठ मनः स्वसन् विश्वक्षेणाङ्घ्रि संस्पर्श हताशेषाघ बन्धनम्. Upon seeing Dhruva Maharaj approaching the neighboring small forest, King Uttanapada with great haste got down from his chariot. He had been very anxious for a long time to see his son Dhruva, and therefore with great love and affection he went forward to embrace his long lost boy. Breathing very heavily, the king embraced him with both arms. But Dhruva Maharaj was not the same as before. He was completely sanctified by spiritual advancement due to having been touched by the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. अथाजिघ्रन्मुहुर्मूर्ध्नि शीतैर्नयनवारिभिः स्नापयामासतनयं जातोद्धाम मनोरथः. Reunion with Dhruva Maharaj fulfilled King Uttanapada's long cherished desire, and for this reason he smelled Dhruva's head again and again and bathed him with torrents of very cold tears. अभिवन्द्य पितुः पादाव आशीर्भिश्चाभिमन्त्रितः ननाम मातरौ शीर्ष्णा सत्कृतः सज्जनाग्रणीः. Then Dhruva Maharaj, the foremost of all nobles, first of all offered his obeisance at the feet of his father and was honored by his father with various questions. Then he he then bowed his head at the feet of his two mothers. Suruchistam samutthapya padavanantam arbhakam parishvarjyaha jiveti bhashpa gadgadaya gira. Surichi Suruchi, the younger mother of Dhruva Maharaj, seeing that the innocent boy had fallen at her feet, immediately picked him up, embracing him with her hands, and with tears of feeling she blessed him with the words, "My dear boy, long may you live." यस्य प्रसन्नो भगवान् गुणैर्मैत्री आदिभिर्हरिः तस्मै नमन्ति भूतानि नम्नम् आप इव स्वयं. Unto one who has transcendental qualities due to friendly behavior with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities offer honor, just as water automatically flows down by nature. उत्तमश्च ध्रुवशोभाव अनन्यो अन्योन्यं प्रेम विह्वलौ अंगसंगाद उत्फुल्ल kav asrogam muhur uhatuhu. The two brothers, Uttama and Dhruva Maharaj, also exchanged their tears. They were overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love and affection, and when they embraced one another, the hair on their bodies stood up. सुनीतेर् अस्य जननी प्राणेभ्योऽपि प्रियं सुतम् उपगुह्य जिहाव आदिम तद अंगस्पर्श निर्वृता. Suniti, the real mother of Dhruva Maharaj, embraced the tender body of her son, who was dearer to her than her own life, and thus forgot all material grief, for she was very pleased. पयस्तनाभ्यां शुश्राव नेत्रजैः सलिलैः शिवैः तदाभिषिच्यमानाभ्यां वीरवीर सुवो मुहुः. My dear Vidura, Suniti was the mother of a great hero. Her tears, together with her milk flowing from her breasts, wet the whole body of Dhruva Maharaj. This was a great auspicious sign. तां शशंशुर्जनराज्ञीं दृष्ट्या ते पुत्र आर्तिः प्रतिलब्धश्चिरं नष्टो रक्षिता मण्डलं भुवः. The residents of the palace praised the queen. Dear queen, your beloved son was lost a long time ago, and it is your great fortune that he now has come back. It appears therefore that your son will be able to protect you from a very long time and will put a sorry that your son will be able to protect you for a very long time and will put an end to all your material pangs. अभ्यर्चितस्तव त्वया नूनं भगवान् प्रणतार्तिह्य यद् अनुध्यायिनो धीरा मृत्युं जिग्युः सुदर्जयम्. Let me say again. अभ्यर्चितस्त्वया नूनं भगवान् प्रणतार्तिः यद् अनुध्यायिनो धीरा मृत्युं जिग्युः सुदुर्जयम्. Dear Queen, you must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead who delivers his devotees from the greatest danger. Persons who constantly meditate upon him surpass the course of birth and death. This perfection is very difficult to achieve. लाल्यमानं जनैरेवं ध्रुवं सम्भ्रातरं नृपः आरोप्य करिणीं हृष्टः स्तूयमानो विसत्पुरम्. The sage Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, when everyone was thus praising Dhruva Maharaj, the king was very happy, and he had Dhruva and his brother seated on the back of a she elephant. Thus he returned to his capital, where he was praised by all classes of men. तत्र तत्रोपसङ्गप्तेर्लसन्मकरतोरणैः सवृन्दैः कदलीस्तम्भैः पूगफोटैश्च तद्विदैः. The whole city was decorated with columns of banana trees containing bunches of fruits and flowers, and betel nut trees with leaves and branches were seen here and there. There were also many gates set up which were structured to give the appearance of a sharks. चूतपल्लववासशृन्मुक्तादामविलम्बिभिः उपस्कृतं प्रतिद्वारम् अपां कुम्भैः सदीपकैः. At each and every gate there were burning lamps and big water pots decorated with differently colored cloth, strings of pearls, flower garlands, and hanging mango trees. प्राकारैर्गोपुरागारैः शातकुम्भपरिच्छदैः सर्वतोऽलङ्कृतं श्रीमद् विमानशिखरद्युभिः. In the capital city, there were many palaces, city gates, and surrounding walls, which were already very, very beautiful. And on this occasion, all of them were decorated with golden ornaments. The domes of the city palaces glittered, as did the domes of the beautiful airplanes which hovered over the city. मृष्टचत्वर रथ्याट्ठ मार्गं चन्दनचर्चितं लाजाक्षतैः पुष्पफलैः Tandulair all the quadrangles, lanes, and streets in the city, and the raised sitting places at the crossings were thoroughly cleansed and sprinkled with sandalwood water, and auspicious grains such as rice and barley, and flowers, fruits, and many other auspicious presentations were scattered all over the city. ध्रुवाय पतिः दृष्टाय तत्र तत्र पुरः स्त्रियः सिद्धार्थाक्षत दध्यम्बो दूर्वा पुष्पफलानि च उपजगृह प्रयुञ्जान वात्सल्याद् आशिषः सतीः शृण्वंस्तद्वल्गो गीतानि प्राविशद् भवनं पितुः. Thus, as Dhruva Maharaj passed on the road, every place in the neighborhood, all the gentle household ladies assembled to see him, and out of maternal affection they offered their blessings, showering him with white mustard seeds, barley, curd, water, newly grown grass, fruits, and flowers. In this way, Dhruva Maharaj, while hearing the pleasing songs sung by the ladies, entered the palace of his father. महामणिव्रातमये सतस्मिन् भवनोत्तमे लालितो नितरां पित्रा न्यवसद् दिवि देवता. Give me 1 second. Am I audible?
Yes, Rohit.
महामणि व्रातमये स तस्मिन् भवनोत्तमे लालितो नितरां पित्रा न्यवसद् दिवि देववत्. Dhruva Maharaj thereafter lived in his father's palace, which had walls bedecked with highly valuable jewels. His affectionate father took particular care of him, and he dwelled in that house just as the demigods lived in their palaces in the higher planetary systems. पयःफेन निभाः सद्या दान्ता रुक्मपरिच्छदाः आसनानि महार्हानि यत्र रौक्म उपस्कराः. The bedding in the palace was white as the foam of milk, and was very soft. The bedsteads were made of ivory with embellishments of gold, and the chairs, benches, and other sitting places and furniture were made of gold. यत्र स्फटिकः कुड्येषु महामारकटेषु च मणिप्रदीपा आभान्ति ललनारत्नसंयुताः. The palace of king was surrounded by walls made of marble with many engravings made of valuable jewels like sapphires, which depicted beautiful women with shining jewel lamps in their hands. उद्यानानि च रम्याणि विचित्रैरमरद्रुमैः कूजत् विहङ्गमिथुनैर्गायन्मत्त मधुव्रतैः. The king's residence was surrounded by gardens wherein there were varieties of trees brought from the heavenly planets. In those trees there were pairs of sweetly singing birds and almost mad bumblebees, which made a very relishable buzzing sound. वाप्यो वैढूर्यसोपानाः पद्मोत्पल कुमुद्वतीः हंसकारण्डवकुलैर्जुष्टाश्चक्रः सारसैः. There were emerald staircases which led to lakes full of variously colored lotus flowers and lilies, and swans, karandavas, chakravakas, cranes, and similar other valuable birds were visible in those lakes. उत्तानपादो राजर्षिः प्रभावं तनयस्य तं श्रुत्वा दृष्ट्वाद्भुततमं प्रपेदे Prapede Vishmayam Param. The saintly king Uttanapada, hearing of the glorious deeds of Dhruva Maharaj and personally seeing also how influential and great he was, felt very satisfied. From Dhruva's activities were wonderful, for Dhruva's activities were wonderful to the supreme degree. वीक्ष्योढवयसं तं च प्रकृतीनां च सम्मतम् अनुरक्तप्रजं राजा ध्रुवं चक्रे भवः पतिम्. When after concentration, King Uttanapada saw that Dhruva Maharaj was suitably matured to take charge of the kingdom and that his ministers were agreeable and the citizens were also very fond of him, he enthroned Dhruva as emperor of this planet. Atmanam cha pravayasam akalaya sorry Atmanam cha pravayasam आकलय्य विश्रम पतिः वनं विरक्तः प्रयासिष्टाद् विमृश विमृशन् आत्मनो गतिम्. After considering his advanced age and deliberating on the welfare of his spiritual self, King Uttanapada detached himself from the worldly affairs and entered the forest. Hare Krishna. Thus ends this chapter 9 from the Canto 4 entitled Dhruva Maharaj returns home. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing what happened after after Lord has blessed Dhruva Maharaj that may he enjoy the kingdom, which was actually his material desire, right? In fact, he was thinking, oh, I want a very, very superior position. And in fact, the Lord blessed him. Okay, you'll be given such a unique position that no one has, and this is the planet called Dhruva which will be facing towards Vaikuntha planets, which will not be impacted by partial dissolutions. As I was mentioning, we could cover only till verse number 13, the purports. There are, I mean, amazing purports. When we talk about, for example, this 16 is telling Yasmin Vruddha Gatayo hi Anisham Patanti Vidyadayo Vividha Saktaya Anupurvayat Tad Brahma Vishwa Bhavam Eka Ananta Adyam Anandam Matram Vikaram Aham Prapadye. So here Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that this impersonal feature or Brahman manifestation is meant for persons who are essentially very advanced but still not able to understand the personal feature of the Lord. So to know this Brahma, Brahman, to understand the form of the Lord in his impersonal form is not so easy. It's far more advanced. Devotees only can understand, but it doesn't mean that's the end. Uh, then there is also Bhagavaneti, there is Paramatmeti Bhagavaneti. Shabdyate. So, in the purport, it's mentioned it's very, very difficult for them. It's but still not able to understand the personal feature or variegatedness of the spiritual world. Such devotees are called Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, who have a thorough fund of knowledge. Jnana, and they think Jnana is superior over actual service. Uh, or they may think jnana itself is service. No, jnana or devotees whose devotional service is mixed with empirical knowledge. Because the impersonal Brahman realization is a partial understanding of the supreme truth, Dhruva Maharaj offers his respectful obeisances, and it goes Vidya, what is Avidya based on Ishopanishad. There's, as I said, then so much description is given about um, um, different kinds of attainments. Then goes further. The example here is just like a cow who takes care of newly born calf by supplying milk and giving it protection from attack, you give all benedictions. Therefore, for one who abides in your devotional service with no other desire, and worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming king and lording it over a kingdom. So he's saying, oh, uh, in the purport, Prabhupada directly writes, Dhruva Maharaj was cognizant of the defective nature of his own devotional service. When the Guru was telling to his disciple, yeah, here Narad Muni was telling to Prahlad, oh, uh, better process is not to do things in passion. Better, yeah, you are a child, understand yourself and go back. It's not so easy and etc. No, he was very determined. But at that time, the determination was to attain what? To attain kingdom. That is even above Brahmaji. Hmm? But after Lord's touch with his conch shell, everything changed. The pure devotional service is therefore called Ahaituki, unmotivated. Ahaituki apratihata. Dhruva Maharaj knew that he had come to worship the Lord uh, in devotional service with a motive to get the kingdom of his father. Such an adulterated devotee can never see the Supreme Lord face to face. He therefore felt very grateful for the causeless mercy of the Lord. Uh, in fact, the Lord is addressed here by Dhruva Maharaj as Purushartha Murti, the ultimate goal of life. Generally, Purushartha is taken to mean execution of a type of religious principle. We know Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are the Chaturvida Purusharthas. Yeah, right? So, prayers for material benediction are intended for satisfying the senses. And when one is frustrated and cannot fully satisfy the senses, he desires liberation or freedom from material existence. These activities are generally called Purushartha. But actually, the ultimate goal is what? Prabhupada writes, it is called Panchama Purushartha. What is that? The ultimate goal of life is to understand the Supreme Lord. Lord Chaitanya therefore taught us not to ask from the Supreme Personality any benediction such as material wealth, popularity, or a good wife. Oh my God. One should simply pray to the Lord to be constantly engaged in his transcendental loving service. So, Dhruv Maharaj, being cognizant of his desire for material benefit, wanted protection from the Lord so that he might not be misled or deviated from that path. Uh, so that he really understood. And then after this, the Lord blesses him. How? He is saying, although your desire is very ambitious and very difficult to fulfill, I shall favor you with its fulfillment. All good fortune unto you. Hmm. Huh? So we may see, right? Sometimes we also hear that Lord gives what we really need. In fact, if it's a material desire, usually Lord doesn't give. But why is the Lord giving here? The Lord is, in the purport Prabhupada writes, the Lord is so merciful to his devotee that he immediately said to Dhruva, let there be all good fortune for you. The fact is that Dhruva Maharaj was very much afraid in his mind, for he has aspired after material benefit in discharging the service, and this was hampering him from reaching the stage of love. Ah, but Lord is saying, the Lord knew Dhruva Maharaj's childish ambition. But how was it possible to offer Dhruva a position more exalted than Brahmaji? A child is asking, and the Lord is giving. How? The Lord assured Dhruva Maharaj that Dhruva would not be bereft of Lord's love. It is not a cheating. It is not that, oh, the Lord who said he has given the darshan and he is just giving some material thing. No, he is saying he encouraged Dhruva not to be worried that he childishly had material desires and at the same time had the pure aspiration to be a great devotee. Very important in our life, especially struggling sadhakas. We may have so many material desires. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want this. I'm no. Without that, maybe I may not be able to do bhakti itself properly. Huh? That is our childish mentality, and our childish mentality sometimes make us desire something that is not favorable to us. But a devotee who is just independent in spite of having all that, if he just continues to do devotional service with whatever capacity he can as priority, then generally the Lord does not award a pure devotee material opulence, even though he may desire it. But Dhruva Maharaj's case was different. The Lord knew that he was such a great devotee that in spite of having material opulence, he would never be deviated from love of God. This example illustrates that a highly qualified devotee can have the facility of material enjoyment and at the same time execute love of God. This, however, was a special case. So we may not say, oh, then let me also have all five-star facilities, and along with that, I will also do japa in a five-star style. No, that doesn't work. I think we are still here in 20 plus verse. Hmm. And then comes very important in the yesterday, I think Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, you were asking, right, about the location of this Dhruva planet, right? In the verse 2021, Prabhupada writes in the purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur comments on this connection that Dhruva Loka is one of the lokas like Shvetadvipa, Mathura, and Dwaraka. They are all eternal places in the kingdom of Godhead, which is described in Bhagavad Gita and in the Vedas. The words parastat kalpa vasinam transcendental to the planets inhabited after the dissolution. So, it refers to Vaikuntha planet. In other words, Dhruva Maharaj's promotion to Vaikuntha Lokas was guaranteed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what happens. Yeah, in the same purport, before it said, Dhruva Maharaj is one of them. The Lord assured Dhruva that he would exist beyond the partial dissolution of this universe. Not only that, thus at the end of the complete dissolution, when Lord Brahma's 100 years are over, Dhruva Maharaj would go directly to Vaikuntha Loka, to a spiritual planet in the spiritual sky. Yeah. Okay, we are now coming to verse number, I don't know, we started from 26, but we are going through the description of 23 still. The Lord continued, sometime in the future, your brother Uttama will go to hunting in the forest, and while absorbed in hunting, he will be killed. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions there is explanation further. It is said, Dhruva Maharaj came to the forest to search out for the Supreme Lord. All fine. With what? With a revenging spirit against his stepmother. There was a revenge. His stepmother had insulted Dhruva, who was not an ordinary person but a great Vaishnava. An offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is the greatest offense in this world. Because of having insulted Dhruva Maharaj, Suruchi would become mad upon the death of her son and would enter into the forest, and thus her life would be ended. This was specifically mentioned by the Lord to Dhruva because he was determined for revenge against her. From this, we should take the lesson, Prabhupada writes, should take the lesson that we should never try to insult a Vaishnava. Not only should we not insult a Vaishnava, but we should not insult anyone unnecessarily. When Suruchi insulted Dhruva Maharaj, he was just a child. She was, of course, did not know that Dhruva was a great recognized Vaishnava. So her offense was committed unknowingly. Oh, see, when one serves a Vaishnava unknowingly, one still gets the good result. And if one unknowingly insults a Vaishnava, one suffers the bad result. A Vaishnava is especially favored by the Supreme Lord. Pleasing him or displeasing him, I mean the devotee, directly affects the pleasure and displeasure of the Supreme Lord. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, in his eight stanzas of prayers to spiritual master, has sung Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. By pleasing the spiritual master, who is a pure Vaishnava, one pleases the personality of Godhead. But if one displeases the spiritual master, one does not know where he is going. I don't know if Adira Prabhu, you are there?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is touching on that topic. Huh? But if one displeases the spiritual master, one does not know where is he going. Okay, we go further. This maybe I'll spend 5 minutes more, and then I'll request you to please read the purports. These are also amazing purports. Yeah, we have not covered in depth. There's also explanation of some technical things. Okay, what happened after going back, what happened to Uttarapada, etc. So I will just read 5 minutes further, and then yeah, encourage you to read. The Lord continued, I am the heart of all sacrifices. You will be able to perform many great sacrifices and also give great charities. So who was that yesterday who asked why not Lord gives already the Vaikunta planet? Huh? Huh? Lord had a plan for him that he engage in yajnas and danas. Hmm? In this way, you will be able to enjoy the blessings of the material happiness in this world, and at the same time of eh, at at the time of your death, you will be able to remember me. Hmm? So he has chosen Dhruva Maharaj so that this can be attained. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, in this age of Kali, however, the great sacrifice is performance of Sankirtana Yajna. Our Krishna consciousness movement is designed to teach people and to learn oneself the exact instruction of the personality of Godhead. I don't know if Seema Mataji, if you are there, yeah. In this purport, we can see our Krishna consciousness movement is designed to teach people, to tell others. But in bracket, it's also written, and to learn oneself the exact instruction of the personality of God. In this way, we shall continuously perform the Sankirtan Yajna and continuously chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Then, at the end of our lives, Prabhupada is saying, we shall certainly be able to remember Krishna and our program of life will be successful. In this age, distribution of prasadam has replaced distribution of money. If someone is coming and asking money, begging for money, still the best charity is prasadam. No one has sufficient money to distribute, but if we distribute Krishna prasad as far as possible, this is more valuable than distribution of money. Hmm. The Lord continued, he said, after your material life in this body, you will go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by residents of other planetary systems. In this verse, Prabhupada writes, in this verse, the word na avartate is very significant. Na avartate means you will not come back to this material world, for you will reach mat sthanam, my abode. Therefore, Dhruvaloka or pole star is the abode of Lord Vishnu within this material world. Upon it there is a ocean of milk, and within that ocean there is an island called Shvetadvipa. It is clearly indicated that this planet is situated above the seven planetary system of rishis, Sapta Rishi Mandala, and because this planet is Vishnu Loka, it is worshipped by all other planetary systems. It may be questioned here what will happen to planet known as Dhruvaloka at the time of dissolution of this universe. The answer is simple. Dhruvaloka remains like other Vaikuntha Lokas beyond this universe. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur has commented in this connection that the very word Navartate indicates that this planet is eternal. Again, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, if you're there, yeah, this is some detail
Mhm.
about it.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And then great sage Maitreya, after being worshipped and honored by the boy, and after being offering him his abode, Lord Vishnu, he returned to his abode as Dhruva Maharaj looked on. So, in the purport again, from this verse, it appears that Lord Vishnu awarded Dhruva Maharaj the same abode in which he resides. His abode is described yat gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Same. So, now we come to what we have read today. But I think a high level would be is basically to understand, yeah, finally Dhruva Maharaj has attained great success, great success that even great rishis could not attain, but he was not pleased. Huh? He was not pleased. It's so, huh? We would feel, hey, yeah, what kind of fool is Dhruva Maharaj? Yeah? In spite of the Lord appearing face to face, gave face to face darshan, he gave such a place that no one would even imagine to get. In spite of that, what happened? His desire was to get a very exalted position, excelling that of his father, grandfather, great grandfather, and although it was somewhat childish determination, because Dhruva Maharaj was nothing but a small child, Lord Vishnu is so kind and merciful that he fulfilled Dhruva's desire. And why he was displeased is because Dhruva Maharaj, he was ashamed that he had demanded something from the Lord, for he should not have done. So ashamed. Sometimes we may, oh, okay. What can I do? What can I do? If we ask and if we say, Guru may say, yes, you can do this. But instead of asking what can I do, sometimes we may say, can I do this? Can I do that? It's nice, but yeah, what would be best is to understand what the Guru wants and do that. Hmm. So here, not only Guru, yeah, even what Lord wants. Yeah. How do we know what Lord wants? Is through Guru. Prabhupada writes in the purport later that just as a swan accepts only the milk from mixture of water and milk, and a Paramhamsa accepts only the Supreme Lord as his life and soul, neglecting all material things. And Dhruva Maharaj is in the category of Paramahamsa. Dhruva Maharaj is in this category. Due to his determination, he achieved the result he desired. But still, when he returned home, he was not very pleased. So, Paramahamsa also is not pleased. What to speak of ordinary. He was simply ashamed of material demands he had in his mind. Huh? In fact, in Mukunda Mala Stotra, there is Kulashekara, author of the book, states in his prayer, my dear Lord, I don't want any position of sense gratification within this material world. I simply want to engage in your service perpetually. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshashtakam is saying, I do not want any amount of material wealth, I do not want any number of followers, nor do I want any attractive wife to enjoy. The only thing I want is that I may engage life after life in your service. So it understands is because on the Vasudeva platform one can see God face to face, the Lord is also called Vasudeva. The Lord is merciful, doesn't see motive but concerned with rendered service, and that's the reason why Dhruva is blessed. Dhruva was offered Dhruva Loka, a planet that was never resided upon by any conditioned soul. Even Brahma, although the topmost living creature within this universe, was not allowed to enter Dhruva Loka. Whenever there is a crisis within this universe, the demigods go to see the Lord at Kshiradakashayi Vishnu, and they stand on the beach of the Milky Ocean. So the fulfillment of Dhruva Maharaj's demand is very very high. Here in this verse, the Lord is described as Muktipati, which means one under whose lotus feet there are all kinds of muktis. What are the muktis that are there? There is Sayujya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Salokya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Sarsti. Out of these five muktis, which can be achieved by any person engaged in devotional service, the one which is known as Sayujya is generally demanded by Mayavadi, means to become one with the Lord. Uh, um, yeah, but devotee is not interested in all these things. Therefore, Vaishnava philosophers do not accept Sayujya Mukti to be within the category of Mukti. According to them, Mukti means transferal to loving service of the Lord. Mukti means it's possible only when one gets the love of God. So, going forward, I mean, as I said, I'll stop at verse number 30. I'm reading 29. It is said, he was very much ashamed to think that although he had gone to Madhuvan, giving up the kingdom of his father, and has gotten a spiritual master like Narada Muni, he was still thinking of revenge against his stepmother and wanted to occupy an exalted position within this material world. These were the causes for his moroseness even after he achieved all the desired benediction from the Lord. So Lord always knows everything. We think Vedaham, he knows everything. Where is this word? Vedaham Samatitani. The Lord fulfilled all Dhruva Maharaj's desire. His revengeful attitude towards his stepbrother was satisfied. His desire for a more exalted position than that of great grandfather was also fulfilled, and at the same time, his eternal position in Dhruva Loka was fixed. Although Dhruva Maharaj's achievement of an eternal planet was not conceived of by him, Krishna thought, what will Dhruva do with an exalted position within this material world? Therefore, he gave Dhruva the opportunity to rule this material world for 36,000 years with unchangeable senses. And after finishing all this material enjoyment, Dhruva would be promoted to the spiritual world, which is Dhruva Loka. Hare Krishna. I mean, from 30 to 66, there are also wonderful purports which gives little further details. So even in fact, as I said, every verse is so nice. I have not managed to cover the purports in good depth, but yeah, here we can see Dhruva Maharaj. I mean, in the verse 30, yeah, 30 there is 31. Sorry, is there? Uh, Harim Vinana Ritim Taranti. It is said that without the blessing of Lord Hari, no one can stop the continuous chain of birth and death. Dhruv Maharaj was actually initiated by whom? Narada Muni, the greatest Vaishnava, in chanting of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra is a Vishnu mantra, for by practicing the chanting of this mantra, one is elevated to Vishnu Loka. Dhruva Maharaj regrets that although he was initiated in the Vishnu mantra by a Vaishnava, he still aspired for material benefit. That was another cause of lamentation. Although he got the result of Vishnu mantra by causeless mercy, he lamented how foolish he was to have strived for material benefits while practicing devotional service. In other words, Prabhupada mentions in the end of this purport, every one of us who is engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness should be completely free from all material aspirations. Otherwise, we will have to lament like Dhruva Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, yeah, maybe you can take some time to read the purport later, maybe. Hmm. And yeah, are there any thoughts or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session before your holiday. Prabhuji, you mentioned that the mother of the stepmother of Dhruv Maharaj, she committed a Vaishnav Prad.
Mm-hmm.
So was he already a Vaishnav at that time, or he became a devotee after meeting Narad Muni?
See, it's a very tricky question, and this is also what is the point Prabhupada is mentioning. Though we have not, I mean, for Suruchi, she couldn't see Dhruva is a devotee, yeah, and at the same time, she cannot also see that he is a non-devotee, right? Huh? So, whether a devotee or not is secondary. At least on a first sense, it's not that, okay, he's an atheist, right?
Yes, yeah.
That is first thing. Second thing is, yeah, in fact, Srila Prabhupada mentions elsewhere that one should be very careful with whom we are dealing in our day to day. We never know. We may think he's an ordinary Kanishta Adhikari. Who knows that he's a Kanishta Adhikari, or who knows that he's not a devotee or devotee? Huh? And your question is, oh, but we don't, was he a devotee before or not? Yeah. But imagine without having that inclination, yeah, yeah, of course, we can see a childish mentality can always be there, but there is also sense of devotion, right? The child's or innocent and innocence can be more penetrative devotion, right? They can even have penetrative devotion. And then when Narad Muni is observing, right, when Dhruva Maharaj was instructed by his mother to go, yeah, why Dhruva Maharaj was aware of it? Because the Paramatma to Paramatma contact is there, and in fact, that is possible, yeah, very actively when one is inclined or interested in advancing. Though we may not directly understand that. Hmm? So, if you are asking a question, was Dhruva a devotee before? Yes. But even if he is not a devotee at that time, afterwards, if he still is a devotee, Prabhupada makes it very clear. Whether at the time when we offended, whether a person is a devotee or not devotee, but afterwards, if he is a devotee, then we have already committed Vaishnava Aparadha. So that's why we should be careful. Unnecessarily, we shouldn't uh, offend anyone. Unnecessarily is what Prabhupada uses there, because we never know. And when it is necessary, the question comes, is when there is a necessity, can we offend a Vaishnava? No. But what is the guarantee that he will not be a Vaishnava in future? We don't know. So better not to offend.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Other questions on a Friday evening?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for this nice presentation, Prabhuji. And also, seeing Narada Maharishi, he always initiates great Vaishnavas with Prahlad Maharaj or Prabhu Maharaj, and their pastimes are always very inspirational, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhuji, and I'm wishing you a nice trip in India, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Then wish you a very nice weekend. Tomorrow, I'm not sure whether we'll have Bhagavatam class. In order not to keep you preparing for it, and if it not may happen, so better we don't have a class tomorrow. Yeah. And Sunday, yes, then we'll see us Sunday. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, so Adirasa Prabhu, for tomorrow, can you please post? There is no class.
Yes, Prabhuji.